So this is another example in how to use comparison operators. So in this example, we input two numbers and we specify whether to add or subtract them. In the top text box, if we put a, that's for adding, and if we put a s, that's for subtraction. And once we hit the calculate button, the operation is performed, and we get the answer in a label. The pseudocode is given at the bottom of the slide. So here's the block of code and also the flow diagram for it. Basically, we have to assign a or declare a string called operation with it being empty at first. Declare three integers num1, num2, and answer, and then we basically assign whatever's in the operation text box, or the text box where we either hit a or s, into operation itself. So after doing that, after getting whatever is operations in the text box, then we take in whatever in the two text boxes for the numbers, num1 text box and num2 text box. Take the text and use the try parse method to convert the text to an integer, and then assign them into num1 and num2. And in our if statement, we compare what string is in operation. If it's equals to capital A, then we just add num1 to num2 and get our answer. And if it's not A, here we are assuming that if it's not A, it must be S, and in that case we subtract the two numbers. And after that, we just display in the answer label the text, which is whatever's stored in the variable answer, and convert it to a string, and then put it in the label. And I mean, the flow diagram basically shows the idea. Now here we can run into some problems, mostly in the comparison of the string. Well, the if we have a, so we suppose we input small a instead of capital A, right? To the computer, that small a is not capital A, even though to us it kind of means the same thing, but the computer is stupid, it doesn't understand that fact. So it'll, if you enter small a, then it'll actually execute the else statement, not the if statement, because small a is not capital A. Or if you put any other character, like B, C, whatever, I mean, that's an invalid data, but it'll assume that is the same as subtraction. So yeah, it could go wrong like that. It also could, like you might, instead of putting one letter, you put, like, accidentally two, like AD or AL or SB or whatever. It doesn't matter. So that still isn't same as A, right? And those are like kind of invalid data, but in all those cases it will just do the else statement. um, and even if you like put a space, that's still not A. So all these scenarios will give you answers which you do not expect. So there are certain ways to overcome these problems. Like if you can limit the number of characters in your operation text box to like one for this case. You can, if you want to be case insensitive, what you can do is, like, you can technically may force whatever characters in your text box to upper or lower cases according to what you need. um, so here's here's a description of that. So in each text box there's a property called max length. By default it's at 0, meaning that there is no max length, and you can like go on typing however you want to, how long you want to. So if you change that to 1, then it will only accept up to one character. And using that, you can eliminate possibilities of having more than one character in that operation text box. um, Character casing property is a property that indicates if the text should remain as typed or be converted to upper or lower case. And I mean, you can go into the character casing property in the text box and just change that to whatever you want to. Now, there's also small codes which you can use to in your code editor to actually do what you did what you can do, and changing the character casing. So if you implement these codes, you can actually within the code itself change whatever is in the text to, or force them to be upper or lower case, or just leave them as it is. So the to upper method basically converts whatever is in the text to uppercase, and to lower is it brings it to lowercase. And based on how you write the code, you can change the variable permanently, or you can temporarily convert it so that you can make a decision. So some examples are necessary to clarify. So if you want to just temporarily change whatever is in like a string, and then compare it, and then make it whatever it was before, then you can do like string, then dot or period, and then to upper, right? And that basically just temporarily changes it for your application. So example 1 is an illustration of that. So you have some string in the letter variable, and you temporarily convert it to an uppercase, and then compare whether it's not equals to p. So if you had put like small p, it will temporarily convert it to capital P, and then compare it. If it's equals to p, then this is false. But if you put any other letter in it, a, b, whatever, it'll cap it, and it will see that it's not p, and then this condition would be true. An example of permanent upper or lower casing is example 5, where you have a text box or some string where having new name with the name new name, and you convert it to total upper casing. So that means new name is equals to new name dot to upper, so it just got updated permanently to upper casing. And another example is the second line of that example. So whatever's text in the state text box is being converted to lowercase, and then assigned into that same text box. All the other examples 2, 3, and 4, they are just permanently temporarily changing the names or variables to something else. So here's two way of eliminating that uppercase lowercase problem. So you can permanently change it to upper in the line of code where we have operation equals to operation text box dot text dot to upper. So the text in the text box is permanently changed to upper. Or if you don't want to do that, if you just want to temporarily change it, you go to the second option where in the beside the if statement in the condition, you just temporarily change whatever is in the operation variable to an uppercase, and then just compare it, and then it will go away, that change will go away. So these are like two ways of doing the same thing.